My name is Pat Rodriguez. I'm the Independent Living Transition Coordinator at Heightened Independence and Progress, a Center for Independent Living here in Hackensack, New Jersey. We are creating a series of videos about assistive technology and self-advocacy skills for students transitioning from high school to higher education or work. The name of the project is Assistive Technology for Life After High School. It's funded by Disability Rights New Jersey, the Assistive Technology Advocacy Center. The partner organizations involved in this project are Region 5, Council for Special Education, Heightened Independence and Progress, and Adam Crafts Consulting. Well, first we're going to start out explaining what is self-advocacy. Self-advocacy is knowing what you want, knowing what you're entitled to, and how you can effectively reach your goals. More specifically, self-advocacy emphasizes personal rights and responsibilities and the ability to effectively communicate needs and negotiate for help. What are some advocacy skills? It involves speaking up for yourself, asking for what you need. It also involves negotiating for yourself, working with others to reach an agreement that will meet your needs, knowing your rights and responsibilities. It also involves using the resources that are available to you. Also, self-advocacy involves being able to explain your disability either by the use of written words, pictures, or gestures. How can self-advocacy help you after high school? Self-advocacy means knowing your skills, strengths, and weaknesses. When you know what you need, then you can obtain appropriate accommodations in college or at work. You ask, what is an accommodation? Let me explain. In college, an accommodation is supports and services provided on college campuses so qualified students with disabilities have equal access and opportunity to benefit from classes, programs, and activities. An accommodation at work is considered any modification or adjustment to a job or work environment that enables a qualified person with a disability to apply for or perform a job. What are some common accommodations? At the college level, some accommodations are extended time, oral testing, scribe that you may need for writing, low distraction testing environment, large print, sign language interpreter, braille material. At work, some accommodations can be probably worksite modifications, adjustable desks and seating, ramps, lifts, wall partitions around workstation to minimize distractions. What is assistive technology? Let's talk about that. In 1988, assistive technology was defined in the Technology-Related Assistance Act and has since been incorporated into several other laws, including the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act of 1990. The actual definition is any item, piece of equipment, or product system, whether acquired commercially, off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. Some assistive technology at the college level can be alternative mouse device, alternative keyboard, text-to-speech application, speech recognition software, smart pen, digital recorder, graphic organizer software, talking calculator, screen magnifier. Those are just some. At the work, some assistive technology can be voice recognition and word prediction, an adapted computer setup, amplified phone, amplified phone or text telephone, assistive software such as voice recognition and word prediction. So some of the assistive technology at the work level is very similar to what you can use at the college level. Advocating for assistive technology, let's see what that's about. What changes after high school? Understanding how your rights to assistive technology as a college student differ from those that you had as a high school student will help you make the most of your post-secondary experience. Once you're familiar with the laws regarding assistive technology in college and what types of questions to ask, you can become your own assistive technology advocate. Assistive technology laws in high school. In high school, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, the IDEA, was a law that provided you free instructional and support services, possibly including assistive technology tools. IDEA also allowed students to receive other services. At the college level, the Americans with Disabilities Act and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act take over. These civil rights laws mandate that colleges provide access to accommodations to all otherwise qualified students and afford them an equal opportunity in the institution's programs, activities, and services. But what does that mean in terms of getting or using that text-to-speech software or other assistive technology devices you used during your time in high school? Remember, whether you already own and use a particular assistive technology tool, or if you want your college to provide and pay for it, you will need to qualify under the law in order to use the technology in college. What's the process? You must self-identify or disclose as having a disability in order to receive accommodations. If you're going to college, you must present documentation of your disability to the Student Disability Services Office. You may require a more updated evaluation. Every college is different. At work, the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 requires employers to provide reasonable accommodation to qualified employees and applicants with disabilities, unless such accommodations would pose an undue hardship. An example would be that it would be too costly or too expensive, maybe too substantial or too disruptive. In general, the applicant or employee with a disability is responsible for letting the employer know that an accommodation is needed to participate in the application process, to perform essential job functions, or to receive equal benefits and privileges of employment. Employers are not required to provide accommodations if they are not aware of the need. What are some questions you should ask your college about assistive technology? At the college's Disability Services Office, you should ask some specific questions that address the availability and accessibility of different types of assistive technology resources on the campus. An example would be, what documentation does the college require before granting you permission to use assistive technology? How will you coordinate your use of assistive technology with your professors and disability services staff? Advocate for your individual needs. So my suggestion to you is to ask early, ask often. Sometimes you may need to repeat yourself to a professor, and ask elsewhere. Ask other students that you may know of, that you may have become friends with, that you may know also share the use of assistive technology needs. You may ask, well, who pays for it? At work, the employer will probably pay for it if it is a reasonable accommodation and it doesn't put the employer in some type of financial hardship. The college may pay for it. Private insurance may pay for it. Or you may seek the assistance of a nonprofit agency or through some sort of grant. What I'd like to talk to you now about is the New Jersey Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services and how they may pay for assistive technology. The New Jersey Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services provides funding for assistive technology for students who may need accommodations at the college level or at work. The Division for Vocational Rehabilitation Services works with people with disabilities. However, if someone has a visual impairment, you may work through the New Jersey Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Some final thoughts. As much as you can maximize the positive and minimize the negative, you'll find greater ease in achieving your goals when you emphasize your abilities more than your limitations. By focusing on and developing your abilities, you can feel good about all the things you can do. Remember, after you graduate high school, it's up to you to speak up for yourself. This is the essence of self-advocacy, and it becomes critical once you graduate high school to learn how to advocate for yourself, to request the things you need to be successful in college or at work. Thank you.